Good morning, everyone. This is my watch list for Monday, August 10th. All right, so what's happening? SPY is flat, right? It's up 0.09%. Basically flat. We're opening into Friday's highs, all right? Not much going on here. We're at all-time highs. I likely will not trade SPY today, okay? Just being honest, I don't see a lot here. I mean, sure, if we break all-time high, but where do we go to? That's the problem. There's no previous level. So if we break 777, where do we go? 780? I don't know, right? There's just no way to know. We're just opening right back into Friday's highs. So let's see what happens. We have CPI, we have PPI this week. Let's not trade SPY until after those come out, right? After CPI comes out, we'll get a clear trend and we can trade SPY. We can trade the Qs, okay? But for now, I think we should just sit back and trade other names. Other names are looking so much better, okay? QQQ also opening right into this big supply. Remember, I shorted this last Wednesday. I shorted that failure of 725 and it made a huge move all the way down to 710. All right, now we're opening right back into that previous supply. This whole 725 to 728 area, which was the high from Wednesday, this is all supply, okay? And we're opening right into it. Now, if we break 728, we could probably get a few more deltas back into 732 maybe. But again, I don't want to trade SPY QQQ until after CPI, PPI, okay? Apple. So Apple got a downgrade this morning. I mean, we've already talked about how this is a bear flag, right? After their earnings, there was quite a bit of selling coming in, and then they got hit with the downgrade this morning. That's why you see this big red candle. I think we can just look for weakness on Apple, guys, okay? Either a pop into, what is this, Friday's lows, 311, 312, or just a breakdown of this 309, okay? Whatever. This pre-market low, I guess, is 308. We could do that, but 309 was the level I was watching before. I mean, the fact is this bear flag is starting to break, right? If you were to draw the trend line of the bear flag, it's a little sloppy, but it's broken that structure, okay? So at this point, we just look for weakness and we can short weakness, all right? Any type of, we see a big red candle below 309, we can short the retest of 309, okay? That's what I'm watching for on Apple, short any weakness on this. AMD, it's still within my range, 520 to 460. If this breaks 460 at some point this week, I will look to be shorting it, right? That's my big level. For now, it's just within the range. Amazon, I actually like this for longs if we can reclaim that 278.50. This was previous all-time high back from May 5th, okay? We broke above and we've been consolidating below. However, you could say the same thing look at the difference in these two charts. This is clearly a bear flag, right, on Apple. And this is clearly a bull flag on Amazon, right? Amazon is looking way more bullish than Apple, right? So if you were to draw the, trend line, right, on Amazon, and this breaks above 278.50, then we could see a continuation upside all the way back into these all-time highs at 287, right? So that's what I'm watching on Amazon. Can we reclaim previous all-time highs, break out of this little flag thing, and then we can see upside, okay? Meta, I think, also got some news pre-market. It's ripping. Meta plans to monetize data center capacity with cloud-like services, proposes government-backed safety testing, model sharing limits, and greater board oversight of AI safety standards, okay? So Meta is getting some upside here. I actually like this long if we pull back into that 600. So 600, you go look at the hourly chart. You guys see that 600 level has been very big. This was right before earnings were rejected, and then it rejected multiple times here. If we get to pull back into 600, this looks good for longs, okay? Microsoft, not doing much. Netflix, I'm watching this either today or sometime this week. If you get above that 75, 75 is huge. This was the breakdown level from back here in February. Now we're trying to reclaim it. It's been trying, it got slammed. Look at this, 1, 2, multiple times off that 75. So if it can reclaim 75, this goes probably back into this pre-earnings high, 77, okay? And then potentially 80 from there. PLTR, we all talked about this. Every single one of us talked about this 163, 164 level, and it broke out on Friday and it just ripped. There were no pullbacks. You couldn't wait for a pullback. It just ripped, all right? Could you look for a bounce now? Yeah, you can. Okay. So PLTR looks, if it pulls back into 163, 164, can look for bounces, but you just have to make sure the bids are holding, because this is the type of name that I don't usually like to trade on the opposite direction, right? I don't like to take bounce and rejects on Palantir. I like to trade with the momentum, with the intraday momentum, because it can get heavy to both sides. All right. Nvidia, I took this long on Friday over that 222 reclaim. I took this long a couple of times on Friday, and it made a nice move into 225. All right, pulled back, held 222, and now it's just gapping back into that 225. This looks kind of tired to me, to the upside. I mean, it's already made a huge move, right? We were in the 180s just a couple of weeks ago, and now we're all the way back to 225, okay? So this has already made a really big move. This looks a little bit tired. This move is starting to look tired. I likely will not take this long anymore. 222, I think if we get back to that point now, it's just gonna sell through it, okay? So I'm not watching Nvidia today, just so you guys know. Tesla is getting very close to my reject spot. Remember, I've talked about this a couple of weeks. This area, this supply from back here has not been tested yet after earnings, right? This support turns into resistance, and we have not tested it yet. You could also say this is just a massive bear flag, okay? So if we get that pop in, I think the bottom was 337, but really it's just 337 and 340, that whole zone. We'll look for failures around that area, and once we see signs of failures, that's when we can short this, okay? I do like that. Let's see what happens, and I'll see you guys on live.